Happy Thursday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Of course, we're coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined lately by the freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Senor Rubus is still out. The same goes for the Deli Man. My co-host and my producer have vanished from the face of the earth, but don't worry, they're supposed to be back on Monday. So do me a solid, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. That's right, David, still flying solo. So same as yesterday. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to know from day 2 of Arizona State fall camp, make sure you throw it in the chat, and I will 100% make some time for it as we move through the next hour and potentially change. Also, a little teaser for the tail end of today's show. If you're somebody that was a PHNX Sun Devils listener from last season, well, we've got a very special guest that's going to be joining us at the tail end of today's show. That's right, Sharon. We do have a surprise guest today, which, again, if you are somebody that followed ASU's run to the CFP and Big 12 Championship in 2024, then you are certainly familiar with the person that is going to be joining us as the show comes to an end. That's right, Ben. It is party time for us, but it wasn't party time for the Arizona State Sun Devils. We heard all the praise from Kenny Dillingham during day 1 of Arizona State fall camp, but sun went down, rose again for day 2, and things were a little different. The passion was really lacking from the Arizona State Sun Devils on day 2 of fall camp. Don't take my words for it. This is what Kenny Dillingham had to say post-practice.
Yeah, we got to be better. I mean, like I said, our offense in general, too many drops on offense as a group. It was a bad day. I mean, it was a really, really bad day on offense. And it all stems from passion we play with. Is it okay to not make a play? And if you accept it, then you accept it. And that's who you're going to be. Don't be mad going 5-7. It's okay. Don't be mad going 6-6. Don't be mad going 3-9, because somebody has to go those records. There's going to be tons of teams who do it. Why not us? We didn't practice bad. What I mean by that is, like, we didn't bust. We didn't MA. We threw 1 pick. Like, we didn't practice bad. We didn't practice with passion. We didn't care if we scored a touchdown. We didn't care if there was an interception, right? We didn't care if somebody made a great play for most of practice. We were just out here practicing. And to me, the best teams, it matters all the time. You want to win everything. And today we didn't have that mindset. We didn't want to win. We wanted to practice. And those are 2 different mindsets to me.
Right.
Good practice of complacency. It was a good practice for a bad team. It was an average practice for an average team. That's what today was.
Good practice for a bad team, average practice for an average team. We know that is not what Arizona State hopes to be in 2025, but to really follow along with what Kenny had said about Arizona State's second fall camp practice, I mean, the offense definitely wasn't firing the way that it was on day 1. That is something that certainly stood out to me during today's practice, whether that be the 7-on-7s, team tempo, or even the team drills. We're accustomed to seeing the Arizona State Sun Devils with a little fire, with a little passion to them, not just on game day, but specifically in practice as well. This is a team with these coaches that were here last year that really do thrive on celebrating each and every moment, right? If there is a pick 6, which there was a pick 6 today, Martell Hughes bringing one down in team tempo early on in practice, you're accustomed to seeing the entire defense, the entire coaching staff, everybody get out there and celebrate, hoot and holler, and do all that, right? The same goes for the offense. If there's big plays or if there's touchdowns, not to say that there wasn't a ton of those big plays today, but there wasn't that same energy. There wasn't that same passion today, at least from the Arizona State offense. We'll get into the Arizona State defense a little bit later on because the defense definitely won today's practice, which is completely opposite from what we saw on day one. But Kenny's 100% right. The passion, the energy, the fire specifically wasn't there for Arizona State. Like he said, it wasn't a sloppy practice, right? The offense turned it over just one time with that interception. This is not still an old Arizona State where it's a sloppy practice where guys are walking around, where there's a bunch of mental mistakes, but there certainly wasn't that competitive nature specifically on the offensive side of the ball where it's like, now we're going to win every single rep, which is weird considering we saw that from the Arizona State offense just the other day. We saw that on yesterday, during yesterday's practice, that this team has it. We've seen it, right? Now, again, are we chalking up the season after one bad practice? No, but the big thing that I think we go into for tomorrow for day 3 is, does the offense take what Kenny said, specifically during the post-practice huddle, right? He was screaming and barking at them to really, just let it come across that he was frustrated, that he was irritated, that this is not the way that you practice if you're an Arizona State Sun Devil. And again, we're going to see what this offense looks like during day 3. It wasn't the offense that we saw on day 1. And that doesn't just go for the first team. That is first team, second team, third team offense did not click and gel the way that they did on day 1. Again, Kenny said it, not a bad practice, but it was a good practice for a bad team. An average practice for an average team. And Arizona State isn't either one of those teams, at least not from a talent perspective, right? Some quick notes that we saw during practice, specifically team tempo, 7-on-7s, and then team as well. We had talked a little bit during yesterday's show that we started to see maybe some players that were going to get those ones, right? Those starting reps. We saw Malik McClain yesterday. Well, what did we see today? Jaron Hamilton was taking first team reps today, team tempo, but he wasn't taking first team reps in place of Malik McClain. He was taking first team reps in place of Jalen Moss in the slot. So get accustomed to seeing Jaron Hamilton all over this offense. We also, ironically enough, saw Raleek Brown take first team reps at running back during team tempo when they moved indoors for 7-on-7s. And of course, team drills, we did see those running backs start to cycle through. And then at the tight end position, we know Shimon Mateer is back, a second-team all-conference tight end for your Arizona State Sun Devils. Kamari Anderson, though, was the one taking first-team tight end reps during team tempo. And on the defensive side of the ball, it wasn't Montana Warren. It was Kendrick Breedlove taking those first-team nickel reps. Now, something that I think that we are going to continue to see as fall camp continues to move, practice to practice, week to week. At this point, I think the players that you see that we're going to be discussing day in, day out that rotate in, right? The guys that are a Kendrick Breedlove, a Montana Warren, on the offensive side of the ball, a Kamari Anderson, a Shimon Mateer, all of the running backs, right? Raleek, Kyson, Kanye, the wideouts, Jalen, Malik, and then, of course, Jaron Hamilton. These are guys that you are going to see a lot this season. So when I say similar to the running backs, that you are not going to probably get a true RB1, you are going to get a RB by committee situation. I think when you are watching the Arizona State Sun Devils in 2025, you're going to see a lot of Jaron Hamilton. Okay, but you're still going to see a lot of Malik McClain and Jalen Moss and Jordan Tyson. They're just rotating these guys in, from at least my personal opinion, so that they are able to get reps with Sam Levitt. They're able to get first-team reps with that offensive line. And then on the defensive side of the ball, again, whoever starts at nickel, I still think you're going to see a healthy rotation between Kendrick Breedlove and Montana Warren at that spot, at least as it stands right now. This could also be a situation specifically on the defensive side of the ball where they want to give these guys, at least for the first week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, some reps with that first-team defense. Whoever ultimately wins those weeks or wins the day maybe they ultimately take over as the starter at that respective position. I don't want to get too much into the secondary as a whole because we will get further into the Arizona State defense and the secondary. Keith Abney and I chatted up after practice today, so we've got some sound from him in regards to his teammates, Montana Warren, Javan Robinson as well, which we'll certainly get there as the show continues to move on. M in the chat saying, first live I've been able to catch in a while. Just wanted to thank you, y'all, for all the solid content all offseason. Go Devils. Absolutely. Of course, we're live 5 days a week. The season has just begun, right? We've got plenty more to sink your teeth into as the Arizona State season and college football really begin. It's going to be a ton of fun. Big Ten Jen saying, what did you think of the Purdue transfers? Honestly, I haven't seen a lot of Nyland Green as practice has gone on, but we've seen a lot of Kendrick Breedlove. Again, I think he had a really solid day today. I believe he won a specific one-on-one rep, I want to say, with Zechariah Sample. And again, him and Montana both had really, really good days today. We wouldn't have had Montana on the thumbnail today if Montana didn't have a good day. There was a play specifically where he lit up one of the running backs, which again, mind you, these guys are only in helmets, right? Like you shouldn't be lighting these guys up. And again, it was a 7-on-7, I believe, or a team period rep. It got a little chippy out there after that, but the guys resolved it after practice. Saw him talking and chatting it up. But yeah, Montana Warren had himself a day. The same goes for Kendrick Breedlove. I think Breedlove, more specifically, is going to be a healthy rotational piece in this defense. Nyland Green is going to be an intriguing player to watch, I think, as the season progresses, because he is somebody that has played a lot of college football. We know he was a former 5-star at Georgia, then transferred to Purdue. Purdue overall didn't have a great season last year, but Arizona State snagged 2 of their better DBs. So those guys are certainly going to be, at the very least, rotational pieces on this Arizona State defense. Going to be hard for Nyland Green to sneak into the starting rotation at corner, simply because you have Keith Abney coming back for year 3 in this program, Javan Robinson coming back for year 2. Both of those guys were really solid at the corner position last year for the Arizona State Sun Devils. So the defense, guys, they won the day. Point blank, period. There was no way that you could watch today's practice and not point out the way that the defense played. Now, I will say that there were a handful of drops from the wide receivers and the tight ends today that certainly are I'm not going to say they're head scratching, but these are the types of plays that you saw Arizona State make last year. Not only games, but you saw them make in practice, right? Catches over the middle, deep balls, like the ball's there. They're getting their hands on it. They should calm down with those passes. So I don't know if it's a mental focus thing. I don't know if it's like, hey, we're sore and tired from day one, and this is what we're throwing out there. But offensively, again, didn't really stand a chance to the defense today. They brought the energy. I thought, despite what Kenny Dillingham said, that the defense did play with passion, especially on the back half of practice when they moved indoors. I thought the defense really owned 7-on-7. They really owned team period. And it was tough for the offense to really get going after that. There was one specific play where Boogie Wilson came down with a tipped interception indoors, I want to say in 11-on-11. The defense was amped. The defense was juiced. The same goes for when Montana Warren made a play in the backfield. And the offense was just kind of lethargic at that point. If I did have to point out anybody on offense that had a good day, Kamari Anderson had a really solid day at tight end, and then Zechariah Sample also had a really solid day on the offensive side of the ball, which I had somebody on social media ask me, like, why is Zechariah Sample not starting? Why is he not going to play a ton? Well, that's just based off of the bodies in the room, right? Something that we had discussed with the running backs, why you're probably not going to see a Jason Brown Jr. a ton this year. With the tight ends, probably why you're not going to see Jaden Fortier a ton this year. Same kind of goes for Zechariah Sample. You look at the wide receivers in this room, Malik McClain, Jaron Hamilton, Jalen Moss, Jordan Tyson. Like, it is a deep, deep room. I will say that I do believe Zechariah Sample is going to be a special player at the collegiate level. He is somebody that I imagine when you go to 2026, he's going to play a big role in this Arizona State offense. At least I think he should. He is that talented. He is a special player in terms of somebody that you want to have the ball in open space. Zechariah Sample, he's quick off the line of scrimmage, runs crisp routes. He's got that extra gear, right? Sometimes we don't see running backs, wide receivers, tight ends even, that are able to get to the next level and then turn on the jets. Zechariah Sample feels like a player that has 2-3 gears even, that can really, really run opposing defenses and DBs out of their shoes. We saw him do it a number of times today. If you don't believe me, posted a video on social media earlier today where Zechariah Sample was getting the job done. Malik McClain also had a pretty solid day today as well, which is going to go a long way for him, considering he is competing for a starting role within this Arizona State offense. But if there is one big takeaway from today, it's that the Arizona State defense owned the Arizona State offense. And that is something that I didn't expect to say, given the success that we saw from this ASU offense on day one of Arizona State fall camp. But what did CB1 Keith Abney think of practice, and what does he think of some of his teammates coming back and trying to fill some of those starting spots? Well, we're going to hear from the Sun Devil himself on the other side of our first break. Of course, we're here in Studio K, my favorite studio that we have here at PHNX. If you can't tell behind me on this side, actually, we got the Circle K snack cart. I know Ayrton, he was snacking on the peach rings, I believe yesterday during the show. We've always got somebody here at PHNX grabbing some snacks from the Circle K snack cart. And you guys, when you pull up to Circle K, not only can you get yourself some great snacks and great drinks, but you can also get yourself some great deals with Inner Circle. It's Circle K's free membership program that takes literally 60 seconds to sign up. All you got to do, download the app from the App Store, enter your email and phone number, and that's it. That's literally all you got to do to be an Inner Circle member. Next time you pull up to the pump, you're going to type in your phone number and you guys are going to start saving money. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, and then you guys can save money literally every single day after that when you pull up to the pump. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Also, I wish we had sirens going off right now. Wee-oo, because it's time to tell you about Mountain America Credit Union. And listen up, because you literally have a limited time to take advantage of what Mountain America Credit Union is offering you guys. You guys can get 2 times the points on rewards credit card purchases through July 31st. I don't know if you guys have a calendar in front of you. Today is July 31st, so take advantage of it while you can, because you can use your Mountain America rewards card and watch the points pile up. It's perfect for the essentials. We're talking gas, groceries, travel, home projects, and all other purchases. This promotion is an easy way to stretch your dollars since you guys earn twice as many rewards. But what rewards are we talking about? That word has just been thrown around a lot lately. Well, you can redeem your double points for rewards like travel rebates, gift cards, and event tickets. Again, limited time only. Details at macu.com/double. Loans on approved credit offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. Again, for everybody in here today, or if you're watching after the fact, do me a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you're listening on audio, please drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. It sounds just simple. I ask you to do it every single day, and if you've already done it, we appreciate you. It goes a long way for us each and every day. So we really do appreciate everybody that does those 3 things, or at least one of the 3 things every single day. Like I said, it goes a long way. Also, want to tell everybody right now, go to gophnx.com. Click the little Die Hard tab. Sign up to become a Die Hard today. There are a bunch of perks when you become a PHNX Die Hard. You're getting access to that Die Hard Discord. So if you're an Arizona State fan, that chat is always going 24/7 talking about the Sun Devils. It's a lot of fun, especially on game day. So highly recommend that you get in there. Now, Freckle Mamba, are we still running that deal, or is that deal over? Deal's over. Well, I hope you guys took advantage of the great offer that we had going on over the last several days because of Cardinals training camp. And if you didn't, you can still go to gophnx.com. Click Die Hard tab. Sign up to become a PHNX diehard today. Also would highly recommend you come by in the chat, you hang out, you interact, because Sharon is somebody that, I mean, she's just throwing diehard memberships at some of you guys. She literally has paid for 2 or 3 of the current PHNX diehards that are in the Sun Devil Discord. So shout out the mother of PHNX Sun Devils, Sharon. It goes a long way. But I do want to dive into what we saw from the Arizona State secondary today because it was a lot of fun. Right. I think when people talk about this Arizona State defense, there are a lot of folks that love the linebackers and they love the safeties and they love the D-line. But me specifically, as somebody who, again, has watched all of these players kind of seemingly grow up, right? It's weird. Keith Abney, we had him on the PHNX Sun Devil show when he signed to Arizona State. We had him and Montana Warren actually on the show that same day, and now we're talking about him in 2025 as 2 very key pieces to this Arizona State defense. Keith looked sharp today. He's looked sharp just about every single day that, we see him. He looked sharp day one. If you're somebody that saw that video of Jordan Tyson in that one-on-one yesterday, I don't know if we still have the ability to play that. Ayrton, I don't know if it's still there or if we can maybe get it back. But he is somebody that he's very talented, man. Keith Abney doesn't get enough love, I don't think, from folks on a national basis or even like a Big 12 media basis. He's somebody that I think just Arizona State fans and Arizona State media maybe appreciate. He's one of the smartest players on this team. It translates. It looks like that. He's somebody that's gotten bigger. He's definitely added more muscle since he first arrived on campus to Arizona State. And let's be real, there's a reason why this guy is wearing number 1 on the defensive side of the ball. You got to be a dog to be rocking Uno on the defensive side of the ball, right? Keith Abney is every bit of that dog. And I think you saw it last year, and I think you're going to see him be an absolute weapon on the defensive side of the ball. That's something that, again, I don't know if it gets brought up enough when we're talking about elite defensive backs. I think people, when they talk about Xavier Alford or when they talk about Keith Abney or even when they talk about Javan Robinson, it's a lot of like, okay, how can we stop the opposing offense, right? How can we make the opposing quarterback, Rocco Beck, how can we make Sawyer Robertson look one-dimensional, right? And it's how they can stop the opposition as opposed to how can Brian Ward utilize Xavier Alford? How can he utilize Keith Abney to be a real weapon for this Arizona State defense? I think you're going to see more of Keith Abney left on an island this season simply because this defense trusts him. Brian Ward trusts him. Brian Carrington trusts him. And the rest of this defense trusts him to lock up the opposition's number 1 wide receiver. And why wouldn't you, right? This is somebody that every single day goes against Sam Levitt and he goes against Jordan Tyson. Now, look, this was the play from yesterday's practice where Jordan Tyson was an absolute, he made a ridiculous catch, but look at the coverage here, right? Keith Abney is with him step for step, makes a play on the ball. Jordan Tyson's just so happens to be Jordan Tyson. You can't watch that play, and we'll run it back one more time. You cannot watch that play and tell me that Keith Abney is not in great coverage here. Jordan Tyson just makes a hell of a play on the ball. And this is, you got to keep in mind, Sam Levitt, a Heisman candidate, is throwing Tyson the rock there. So this is a guy in Keith Abney that is going to improve, and he's improved. Like, it's hard to sit here and be like, I see this guy like getting even better simply because we've seen him. Like, what's this kid's ceiling at this point? I don't even know where Keith Abney's ceiling is at Arizona State because he is so damn good and he got to this point so damn fast. People are already talking about him as somebody that could climb NFL draft boards, right? Like, he could be here another year or he could go pro after this year if he has a really solid season. I can see it happening. He's that type of player. And we give all the love and we talk about Keith Abney, but the guy that's coming with him, right, that came with him in the Arizona State recruiting class, Montana Warren, 2 very different careers up to this point when it comes to college football. Montana Warren is somebody that we thought was going to get a lot of run at safety maybe his freshman year, ultimately got hurt, didn't play. And then his second year, right, like where was he going to play? Miles Rouser and Xavier Alford were locking down the back end of this defense. And then you look across the corner spots. Well, you've got Keith, you've got Javan, and Shamari, who was starting at safety the year prior, he kicked down to nickel. So there wasn't really a spot for Montana Warren to go out and start. So instead of transferring out, he sat and he learned from Shamari Simmons. He learned from this defense, and ultimately he is now in a position where he can contribute and will contribute to this Arizona State defense. But who cares what I have to say about Montana Warren? How about the guy, Keith Abney, that we've been giving a lot of love to already, and that came in that same recruiting class with Montana? This is what Keith had to say about Montana Warren's growth since he first arrived on campus.
You know, him coming in last year, learning from Shamari, it was good for him. So seeing him take that next step this spring and coming to work every day with his head down, trying to get better every day with a good mindset, good attitude, it's great seeing his growth.
I mean, again, this is somebody that in Keith Abney has had to work his tail off to get to this point, right? Nothing comes easy at Arizona State, not on this Arizona State team. Maybe years past for the Sun Devils, but not this program, not this season, right? So for Montana Warren to get the love and get the praise that he's getting from Keith Abney and look the part, right? I don't want it to be like I'm just sitting up here and like, oh, I'm praising this guy and praising this guy. Like, I would tell you if these guys were ass, if they weren't playing well. Like, I'd keep it a buck with you guys. Montana Warren played well. He's played well since he first arrived on campus. It's just kind of been the nature of the situation for him, right? Think about it. He was a stud to the point where he was potentially getting reps at safety his freshman year. Unlucky, you get hurt, you're missing time. Sophomore year, what happens? Well, they bring in some dogs in the portal that are older, right? Specifically, you look at Miles Rouser, Xavier Alford comes back. Well, those are your safeties. Montana's never played nickel before, so Shamari is getting that spot. And we're not putting Montana on the perimeter at corner because Keith's on one side, Javan's on the other, and Javan has familiarity in the system because he was at Washington State, right? And that's where Brian Ward was before this. So he just kind of had to take it on the chin. If you don't think that Montana Warren is going into every single practice with the mindset of I have to earn this, I have to win this, I'm not sitting another year, I'm not riding the bench another year, then you're wrong, right? I think that's something that often gets lost when we talk about these position battles. It's like we kind of erase everything that has happened from these teams. We erase the mentality of some of these players. Like, think about it in your shoes. If you were somebody, if you were passed up for a role because something happened one year, and then the second year they brought in somebody else that took over, right? Because they had more experience or they were better than you at that respective spot. And now you're going into your third year, and it's you and another guy. And you're like, dude, I've been here, right? I had to sit the year prior. Something happened the year before that. Like, this is his year. And think about it like this. Everybody is back in that defense. 10 of 11 from a team that won a Big 12 championship on the defensive side of the ball. That's not even including all the depth that they have on the defensive line and at the linebacker room. This one position is the one new guy. You're telling me that Montana Warren's not sitting up thinking about it late at night like, man, this is it. This is my spot. I think that's the way he's thinking about it. And that's the way he's playing. Again, he laid the wood today. It was just helmets. Like, you're telling me this guy doesn't want it? That this guy can't do it? I think he's trying to prove something. Because you go back and you look at that first half of the college football playoff and how many fans after that game were like, man, if only we had Shamari for the entirety of the ball game, right? Look at what happened when Shamari came in that second half, made a big, big difference, right? How do you think Montana Warren feels reading all that, right? And he didn't have a great first couple drives. He just didn't. That's the honest truth. Montana Warren did not look great in that first half against Texas. Who would? They're playing a top 10 offense in the country with wide receivers galore. One's a first-round pick going to the Green Bay Packers. Quinn Ewers is now a quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Not the starter, but he's still on the roster, right? That offense was special. Steve Sarkisian's coaching it up, and it's like, hey, just so you know, Montana, the guy who's been starting all year at this position has to miss the first half because the refs needed to get their glasses checked at the Big 12 championship game and called them for targeting. So you're going to go in to a position you've never played in a game before, on the biggest stage, win or go home, we need your best for a half. Who is going to perform well under that circumstance, under those lights, right? There's some get back this year. And I'll tell you what, man, he looks the part. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I think Montana Warren can be just as good, if not better, than what Shamari was last year. That's the honest truth. And the reason I say that is because Montana was here from the jump, right? Shamari had to transfer into this program. And I don't want to take any shots. That's no offense to Shamari, right? Who started his college career, I want to say at Austin Peay, before transferring over to ASU. But Montana has always been an Arizona State Sun Devil. He committed to Dilly before he had seen Dilly at Arizona State coach a game. And he's been here through it all. He's been with Brian Ward the whole way. Yeah, he hasn't played a ton. 3 years now, going into his third year in this system. This is not like you're plugging and playing just a stranger. You're plugging and playing a transfer. You're plugging and playing a newbie. That's not the case. And I see it sometimes where people are like, man, well, what if we plug and play a transfer here? Or, I miss Shamari. You can miss Shamari, man. That's going to be fine. Montana Warren's going to hold it down. And even if it's a rotational situation between Montana and Kendrick Breedlove, which I think is totally fine, Montana's still going to shine 100%. And you know why I believe that? Because go look at that class. Go look at that recruiting class for Arizona State. It was Kenny Dillingham's first recruiting class as a Sun Devil head coach. And you look at the players and their success already at Arizona State, or even if it's not their success, it's what you expect them to do going into this season. We can go through each and every one of it. Kyle Scott. Kyle Scott is probably going to be your starting right guard for Arizona State in 2025, right? Sean Na. Sean Na has played valuable minutes for this Arizona State program. Maybe not this year, but in years past. CJ Fight, the best defensive lineman on this team, right? Also a part of that recruiting class. Kyson Brown. We're talking about Kyson Brown every single day as potentially RB1 for the Arizona State Sun Devils, right? And then you look at that transfer class that was there. Well, guess who was there? Jordan Tyson, Clayton Smith, Shamari, Deshaun Mallory, Xavier Alford, Leaf Fautanu, Xavier Guillory, Trey Brown. That class was nothing but pure gold. And now you're telling me a kid that committed here has spent 3 years in this system, who seemingly has gotten passed up for opportunity after opportunity, who's finally going to get his chance, isn't going to succeed? Come on, man. Come on. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think Montana Warren is going to be an absolute dog. But that goes for everybody in this secondary, right? We already talked about Keith. We talk about Xavier Alford every day. 100-yard landlord's a dog. We know what Miles Rouser brings. He lays the boom. Like, that's certified hammer, bro. So who are we not talking about? Well, it's Javan Robinson. Javan Robinson is somebody that kind of came out of nowhere last year, right? Washington State transfer. ASU's looking for their second corner. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be one of the young bucks? Is it going to be a transfer? Javan steps up from spring ball. Looks the part. Plays the role of a lockdown defensive back. And then you get into the year, and he does it every single game. I think you could point to one specific play, and everybody knows the play. One specific play last year that really captured the Arizona State season. And Javan Robinson was the one to do it. You go back to the BYU game. Jake Retzloff, the Cougs are driving. You need one stop. You need somebody to make a play, which, side note, Arizona State in 2024, somebody needed to play. The Sun Devils needed somebody to step up. Sam Levitt did it. Cam Scadaboo did it. Jordan Tyson did it. Defensively, Xavier Alford did it. Keith Abney did it. CJ Fight did it. Somebody needed to have a play. And you know who had a play? Arguably the biggest play of the year? Javan Robinson. Pick going the other way, less than a minute to play in the BYU game, ultimately seals it, despite what happened on offense after the fact. And ASU wins that ball game. They got all the momentum going into the rest of the year, right? A Big 12 championship is possible at that point because of the play that Javan Robinson made. And he's back. I don't know if that's getting enough discussion, that you don't just return your starting safeties. You don't just return your starting front seven. You don't just return your starting corner. You return the second guy, the Robin to Keith Abney's Batman. So what did Batman have to say about Robin and their relationship? Well, this is Keith Abney on Javan Robinson.
That's my brother right there, man. We come out here, we try to push each other. If I see him down, I'm gonna try to pick him up. If he see me down, he gonna pick me up. Like, we just, we had that competitive nature. We always just trying to make each other better. I want to see him win. He want to see me win. We celebrate together. So it's great having somebody on the opposite side of the field that I can trust and play like. So when we go out there on the field, I point at him, he point at me. Like, you hold your side down, I hold my side down. It's great though.
I mean, that's what you got when we're talking about the Arizona State Sun Devils, man. You got two guys that are going to go lock down their respective sides of the field, right? I got this third, you got that third, and we're chilling. That's it, right? That's what we saw today. When I tell you and sit here and every day where it's like, oh, the offense won. Oh, the defense won. The days that the defense win are the days that Javan Robinson, Keith Abney, Miles Rouser, Xavier Alford, they're smothering. And they're smothering a wide receiver room that we can all sit up here unbiasedly and agree is better than it was last year, right? No disrespect to the wide receivers that were in that room last year. This is a better overall wide receiver room. It's deeper. It's more talented from top to bottom. And I could sit here and tell you that despite Arizona State having the number one wide receiver in the Big 12, despite having what I believe is the number one quarterback in the Big 12, the defense won. Well, how'd they do it? It's because Keith Abney and Javan Robinson are on these wide receivers like glue. But they're doing it in a way where it's not drawing flags, right? Again, look at the Jordan Tyson play. Do you see pass interference anywhere there? No. It's perfect coverage, right? And you go and you do the one-on-ones. You go and you do the 7-on-7s. You go and you do the team drills. The reason the defense wins is because they're a full unit, right? I was talking to somebody earlier before the show even started. I think the defense has the potential to be more consistent game over game than the Arizona State offense, right? Because the Arizona State offense likely week in and week out, if it's not Jordan Tyson's game to have, well, it could be anybody else's. This defense knows who they are. They move as one. And I know that could sound like, oh, he's like making a metaphor for something, or, oh, he's just riding the hype train. I'm not, dude. Like, I wish there was somebody else from PHNX that would go out to these practices with me. That way it doesn't seem like I'm the one going out there and seeing this all and I'm making it up, because I'm not, right? The defense feeds off of each other. It's really, really interesting to see. I haven't seen an Arizona State defense other than last year's group like fly around the way that this unit does in terms of like just energy, right? The offense lacked passion today. The defense did not. Not from my perspective, not from my eyes. Now, maybe I'm not Kenny Dillingham who wants 150% at all times, but this defense looked the part to me, especially when it came to those team drills, especially with the fact that when you do go to the second team or the third team, like, you have transfers, right? Like, we're talking about Adrian Boogie Wilson, the safety transfer from Washington State. He had a pick today. He looked good. The guys were all over him today, right? Loving him up. That's what you want to see. Or some of the younger guys that you see in this team. Martell Hughes with a pick 6 early in team tempo. The guys loving him up there, right? Jordan Crook being extra vocal today. He looks like an entirely different player. This is the type of group that all year long, all fall camp, all August, all you're going to hear from national media, all you're going to hear from everybody else is, man, don't let this ASU offense get hot. That's what you're going to hear. Don't let Jordan Tyson get hot. Don't let Sam Levitt start to cook. Don't let the running backs run wild. With all due respect, don't let this defense get hot. Don't let them get hot. Because as good as this Arizona State offense is, this defense can be better. And I genuinely believe that. And we're not talking about somebody on the defense the way that we're talking about the guys on the offense. We're not sitting here, and it's not just me, it's nobody. Nobody's sitting up here saying, oh, Xavier Alford, Heisman candidate. Right? No one's doing it. I'm not saying they should, right? When was the last time a defensive player won the Heisman, right? Was it Charles Woodson? All the way back when? Offense and defense. Get lost, Ayrton. Right? Like, it's the truth. This defense has dudes. Like, and they've done it. They've showed you they can do it. One of the best defenses in the conference last year. Right? And I know it feels like I'm getting on my soapbox a little bit, which, hey, cut me some slack. This is like the third or fourth show I've done by myself, okay? This defense is going to be a lot of fun, but I'm really, really excited to see what happens tomorrow. Day 3 of fall camp, right? Because Kenny gave these guys a lot of love on day 1, right? Do we have the clip of Kenny from day 1 somewhere in here? Let's go ahead. This is what Kenny, we don't have day 1, we just got day 2. Okay, let's see if you could upload real quick the day 1 clip that we have in Slack somewhere. And we can literally do a side-by-side. That way you guys can see it. Like, Kenny is not faking this. Like, we saw a great Arizona State offensive day on day 1. Kenny loved them up, right? Then you go to day 2. No passion, no energy, no fire. Kenny said it was bad. No passion. Or he didn't say it was bad. He said it was a good practice for a bad team. Which, whew, damn. Said it was an average practice for an average team. Right? He was on. So what happens day 3? Because right now we're sitting 1-1. Offense took day 1. Defense took day 2. What's day 3 look like? Right? And you best believe we're going to have it right here on the PHNX Sun Devils show, 1 o'clock on Friday, because that's what we do. Right? And I'm very, very, very interested if there is anything else that you guys want to see. If there's anybody that you want me to talk to out there, if you have any questions that you want asked, I'm here. Okay? Let me know. I'll 100% get to it if I can. I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can for the Arizona State fans that we have in the chat, because I want you guys to get the answers to the questions that you have leading up to this Arizona State 2025 season. It's going to be a fun season, but I know that you have questions. I'm sure you probably have concerns or you have comments. Like I said, I will 100% get to it. Before we get to a quick break and our surprise guest, just again, want to show you the side-by-side here of what Dilly had to say on day 1 versus what Dilly had to say on day 2, and it's only going to make it more exciting for what Dilly has to say on day 3. This is Kenny Dillingham after a quote-unquote great, the best first day for the Sun Devils.
I thought that was our best first day. Like I said, I don't like to sing as many praises as I like to do, say more negative, especially when our guys are getting a lot of praise. But it was a good day. And one thing I'm not going to do is be fake just to say it. It was a good day.
Good day versus what we saw today, which was...
Yeah, we got to be better. I mean, like I said, our offense in general, too many drops on offense as a group. It was a bad day. I mean, it was a really, really bad day on offense. And it all stems from passion we play with. Is it okay to not make a play? And if you accept it, then you accept it. And that's who you're going to be. Don't be mad going 5-7. It's okay. Don't be mad going 6-6. Don't be mad going 3-9, because somebody has to go those records. There's going to be tons of teams who do it. Why not us? We didn't practice bad. What I mean by that is, like, we didn't bust. We didn't MA. We threw 1 pick. Like, we didn't practice bad. We didn't practice with passion. We didn't care if we scored a touchdown. We didn't care if there was an interception, right? We didn't care if somebody made a great play for most of practice. We were just out here practicing. And to me, the best teams, it matters all the time. You want to win everything. And today we didn't have that mindset. We didn't want to win. We wanted to practice. And those are 2 different mindsets to me. Good practice of complacency. It was a good practice for a bad team. It was an average practice for an average team. That's what today was.
I didn't catch that the first time around. I don't think Ayrton did either when Kenny said, 5-7, 6-6, 3-9. Somebody has to go those records. Why not us? That's something. That is something. Again, Kenny Dillingham is one of one. Again, that's the difference between day 1 and day 2 of fall camp. What does day 3 have in store? We're going to talk a little bit about the Arizona State Sun Devils heading into day 3, and then we got a special guest joining us as well after this quick break. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but it is hot as hell outside. So what if, while you were at work, you could actually change the temperature inside your house, apartment, condo? That way, by the time you got home, it was already cool. Or you were saving money while you were at work. Well, you can do just that with APS and the smart thermostat. It works with your APS rate plan to help you automatically adjust the temperature in your home. And for every 1 degree you raise your thermostat, you guys could save up to 2 to 3% on your cooling costs, which we know it's going to go a long way. But you have to remember to adjust your thermostat, which can sometimes be hard when you're busy or not at home, or maybe you're at ASU fall camp. Now, a smart thermostat makes it easy if you're away from home and forgot to adjust your thermostat on the way out. You can do it from your smartphone or device from anywhere. APS customers, you can find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy-efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Right now, APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards plus free installs available at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. Now, you're cooling your home and you're upgrading those floors with our friends over at Empire today, because just like the Sun Devils have a home court and a home field, your home needs a home field advantage, and nobody is going to help you do it as good as our friends over at Empire today, because they've got flooring experts, okay? These are not just Joe Schmoes out there. These are not your average flooring experts, okay? These are dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. It's a totally different experience than when you go to the big box stores and you got a bunch of questions and you wander the aisles. And then by the time somebody actually does help you, you got to go home and do it yourself. That's not the case with Empire today, because they live and breathe flooring. They're going to be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame. Plus, schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. PHNX listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHNX. Yes, you heard it right. A $350 discount with code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire today/PHNX for full details. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. Couple other news and notes points, I guess, before we get to our special guest. Things that stood out to me during Arizona State's, second fall camp practice. The younger offensive linemen. Again, I talked a little bit about Champ Westbrooks on yesterday's program. There were a couple guys today. Makai Stewart, Terrell Kim. These are all pretty young Arizona State offensive linemen that were holding their own when they were going in one-on-ones against these pass rushers, which we know that there are some big-time Arizona State defensive linemen, right? CJ Fight, Jacob Kingaika, Clayton Smith, Joshua Shanklin, Elijah O'Neal. The list goes on and on for those guys that you have up front for the Arizona State Sun Devils. But I'll tell you what, these young offensive linemen, they were holding their own in pass pro. That was something that I did not really expect to see today. Maybe it's just because I don't spend an otherworldly amount of time next to the offensive linemen, because there are so many things to watch and keep up with out there at practice. But today I made it a point to go watch these one-on-ones with the pass rushers and the offensive linemen. And I know it feels like an awkward placement for this, but the Arizona State offensive line for years to come, as long as Saga is here holding down the offensive line assistant coach spot, feel really, really good about what this offensive line can be in the future and what it's going to be here in 2025. Again, the offensive line looked the exact same as it did on day one. You had Josh Atkins at left tackle. You had Jamedo Bigbo at left guard. You had Ben Coleman at center. You had Kyle Scott at right guard. And then you had Max Ahanachor at right tackle. So as it stands right now, that looks to be what you are going to see for your Arizona State offensive line. Very curious to see if there are any movements or changes as camp continues to roll around. We'll see if anything moves along tomorrow, right? That's something to definitely keep in mind. We saw some changes today from the quote-unquote starters, despite Arizona State having a really solid practice on day one. We'll see. Does Kenny opt to change things on offense or defense, given the fact that today there was a, quote, lack of passion, right? I think that is something to certainly monitor as Arizona State continues their fall camp with 31 days left. 31 days left till the Sun Devils kick off against NAU. David asking, how is the fan support at practice? Is anyone allowed in? Nobody is allowed in. Practices are not currently open to the public as it stands right now. I am unsure if that will change as camp continues to move along. But of course, you can go to Camp Tontozona. You can watch Arizona State there. But if you were somebody that watched the PHNX Sun Devils show in 2024, then you're familiar with this guy right here. The one, the only Captain Redbeard. Captain, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you swimmingly, which is fantastic. You don't look like you're on a boat, though.
I'm on a food trailer.
You're on a food
Close
trailer.
enough, right?
I love it. I guess close enough. Look, Captain Redbeard, also, I mean, his God-given name, Kyle Cooper, was the producer for the PHNX Sun Devil show in 2024. He was a part of the Big 12 championship run,
Who's that?
part of the CFP stuff. Kyle, how is the adventure going right now? And for all the folks that don't know, what are you like currently doing?
Adventure's going well. It's taken us a while to get up to Alaska. I think initially it was supposed to be like a 2-month adventure, and we're in Western California right now, so it's taken a while, but
you made it one state really over, well. Dude.
Well, we went to Colorado, then we went to Utah, now we're in California.
Wow. And so what are you, like, again, for those that don't know, what are you doing with this food trailer?
So basically, my friend JV, he's a chef, and he came down to Arizona and bought this food trailer, and he's driving it up to Alaska because he needed a kitchen. That was the reason. He needed somewhere to cook, and I basically joined him on this journey, and he was like, might as well use the trailer and get some use out of it and give away free food and cook out of the trailer and document it. And so that's basically what I'm doing, just documenting the journey.
What's the best piece of food that he's cooked for you guys so far?
Oh, man, that's so tough. Well, the funny thing is we didn't have propane working for like 3 weeks. So, yeah, we kind of got really basic with the meals. We did like hot dogs on the 4th of July and gave those away. We did like cold sandwiches. So he hasn't done like a ton of his cooking, but he makes great tacos. Best thing so far. We just did like a mystery meal that was really good. Like that was a recent idea. Me and my buddy went into a grocery store and we just picked out random ingredients that he didn't know about. And then he had to go cook them and then give it away to a stranger. And that was a whole video.
That sounds like kind of me in my kitchen at like 6 p.m. on a Friday night, figuring out what I'm going to eat. Oh, my goodness. So are you going to make it back to Alaska in time to watch Arizona State kick off against NAU? Or like, how are we going to make it back for the college football season? What's the plan there?
Yeah. Wherever I will be, I'll be tuning in for sure. We're supposed to be up there by September, so
by September,
hopefully, yeah.
Oh my goodness, man, that's insane. Well, look, man, we miss you. The Sun Devils. Kenny didn't like what they had to do today. We've played the clip a couple times. Kenny said the offense lacked a lot of passion today, which is weird because they had a bunch of passion on day one. But I'm curious from your perspective as somebody that helped us cover this team last year and was a part of that crazy ride. What are you looking forward to seeing most from Arizona State in 2025? And then do we have a record prediction, a bowl prediction? Like, what do we got here?
Oh, man. going to be tough to surpass last season. You know, just because it was the greatest story in college football history.
Easily.
But when I was there with you guys, we had Kanye in studio, and I think a lot of eyes are on Levitt, obviously, and Tyson. But the running back is so important. So I'm wondering, like, how is he going to perform? To really fill out that offense. How are the running backs going to perform? That's what I'm going to keep my eye on the offensive side. And record, I will say they'll drop one game. They're going to lose one game. I don't know what it's going to be, but they're going to lose one game this year.
11-1, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
So we're going back to Dallas.
You're going back to Dallas.
If they make it to the Big 12 championship, will you fly down and celebrate with us? Come on, man. I mean, we did it once. We got to do it. If they make it back to the Big 12 championship game,
we'll do like an agreement here. It's not a super official, but yes, you have my word.
A tentative agreement.
Yeah,
that if Arizona State goes back to the Big 12 championship, then Kyle Cooper is going to come with us. But you got to remember to get your phone. You can't leave the phone in an Uber in Dallas anymore, man.
I'll tape it to my forehead.
Please do at this point, man. Where can everybody follow along with the adventure that you are currently going on? Again, from Phoenix to Alaska, just cooking up some mighty fine meals for free.
It's at Chef John JOHNAK for Alaska on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And do you still use your Twitter at all, or are you're fully off social media now?
No, I have Instagram. I haven't been on Twitter, but yeah, my Instagram's KCoopFilms. Kind of just show because another thing we're doing is seeing all these national parks, so kind of just show that off and kind of behind the scenes of the journey. If you'd like to follow that, I miss everyone.
Go follow Captain Redbeard. Again, an elite level, just producer and friend and everything under the sun while he was here at PHNX. We miss you, Captain Redbeard. We wish you were back here. We know you're on the type of adventure that only Captain Redbeard would embark on. But hopefully we can get you to call in some more as the season kind of carries on.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
Always appreciate you, Captain. Appreciate you hopping on. Guys, again, hit that like button for Captain Redbeard. Hit the subscribe button. Go follow him in his adventure that they're having on YouTube and on Instagram and on TikTok and all the things. It's a ton of fun to see them do what they're doing. But that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils show. Like I said, we will be back for the third day of camp at 1 p.m. On YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have those notifications on because we have a jam-packed show tomorrow, including an interview with one of the newest Arizona State commits in the class of 2026. So you're going to want to be here. Again, follow us, PHNX_Sun Devils on social. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You could follow Ayrton, also known as the Freckled Mamba, at Freckled Mamba on social media. And we will see you guys on Friday. But in the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.